All right, everybody, that's the music saying it's time to start the show. My name is Rex Perry. I'm the host and creator of the Business to Business Network. We've been doing the show once a week since 1999, and we talk business, politics, and economics. It's a hour-long show that we chop into different segments talking about different subjects, and we're trying to help educate the public how business, politics, and economics all tie together, and those people that we elect to run our country, run our cities, run our states, they help us, and they can also hurt us economically if we don't make wise decisions. So we try to pick the smartest and best people because we want efficiency. And our guest is going to talk a little bit about that. Or we're going to start with Phil. Phil, give us your last name. Introduce yourself, please.
Hey, thanks, Rex. My name is Phil Boileau, and I live in Salt Lake City, Utah.
And tell us about your part of the Forward Party. Introduce that a little bit. Educate us a little bit about what you guys do.
Nothing would make me happier, Rex. That's what we're trying to do. That's the real challenge for what we're trying to accomplish here. So the Forward Party was founded in 2022 when a series of disparate sort of third-party political movements decided to sort of that there are strength in numbers, and they put their heads together and they formed what we now call the Forward Party. Basically, our general premise is that right now there are really only two operating political parties in the United States, and we feel like there should be more than two political parties. Our structure is a little bit different than the two legacy parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. We believe in sort of a bottom-up approach. We are not particularly interested in running a presidential candidate. We know the sort of the legacy of and the controversy surrounding presidential candidates. We want to avoid that spoiler label. Just a tremendous number of political offices at the local level go uncontested every year because, the way that our maps are drawn and the way that our political realities are is in many, many, many parts of this country, there's really only one functioning political party. And so we're actually aspiring to not be the third political party, but the second political party in many of these areas, and that's what we're trying to do here in Utah.
And let me try to touch on that just a little bit, and this is why independence. Here in Arizona, we have 30% registered Democrats, 30% registered Republicans, and 30% of the state of Arizona are independents. So in reality, there is a third party. They just don't, they're just not organized. And we have these independents, which I consider myself to be an independent, who can swing either vote for a Democrat, depending on the individual, or a Republican, depending on the particular platform, hoping to get the country to go in the right direction. And having these independent voices, especially in the House of Representatives in Congress, can be extremely effective because everybody pay attention to this. Mike Johnson has a one-vote majority, one person. And if you had 3 or 4 or 5 independents, they could literally be swinging the House of Representatives in the direction that they want to go. You see what I'm saying there, Phil?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What you just referred to, we call that the fulcrum strategy, and that's specifically what our sort of short-term goal is here, is to just install enough individuals who are independently minded at, within the federal Congress and within, state houses all around the country to be able to kind of obligate people to work together across the aisle instead of just wait out their turn through the pendulum swings. And I'm really glad that you brought up the concept of independence. So this is a little bit counterintuitive to people, but what we're really trying to do is we're trying to build a political party that represents those independents. Those are two things that seem like mutually exclusive concepts. Many people identify as independent because they don't want to be part of a political party. We get that. We feel the same way. But the political reality is that it's really hard to run for office and to actually win in office and to be part of a network of individuals who feel broadly the same way that you do, that party bosses shouldn't be telling you what to think about a particular issue, but to have an infrastructure that backs you up and says, you know what, I can open the door to funders and volunteers and this and that for you if you join the Forward Party, bring your independent values with you. That's specifically the hypothesis that we're trying to accomplish.
Now, you had a kind of an interesting situation happen with a Republican. No, it was a state senator, legislator. Tell us the story. What happened up there in Utah?
Great, yeah. So we had a longtime state senator by the name of Daniel Thatcher, served for 15 years in the Utah State Senate. For most of those 15 years, he was a pervasive thorn in the side of Republican leadership. He would identify as a political conservative. He continues to identify as a political conservative. But sometimes, Rex, I'm sure you're aware of this, the Republican Party, we feel, many of us feel, has kind of drifted from some of their core conservative values over the last 20 years or so into something a little less rooted in sort of some kind of political philosophy. He identified that, and he would break ranks with the Republicans from time to time when he saw them sort of shifting away from what he believed was his core conservative values. So let's flash forward a little bit to 2024. The Forward Party is a growing national entity. Senator Thatcher has heard about us. And after sort of one, it wasn't just a single straw that broke the camel's back, but one thing after another, he decided on the last day of our legislative session in 2025 that he was officially done with the Republican Party, and he changed his party affiliation to the Forward Party. That made him that made the Forward Party nationally one of just 4 political parties in the United States with any representation at the state legislative level. So that was a pretty good win for us. And he was perfectly aligned with our values, and he continues to be, and he's a great hero to many of us. So, but Senator Thatcher also had been eyeing retirement for some time. He had some health issues, some well-known health issues previous to that, and he was looking for a way out, but he did not want the Republican leadership within Utah to sort of steamroll the people of his legislation, or excuse me, the people of his district, and sort of handpick who his replacement was going to be. And that gave us a really interesting opportunity to shine a spotlight on how midterm elections are conducted here, midterm replacement elections are conducted here in Utah. So I'm just going to keep going, Rex, if that's okay.
Yeah, please keep going.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know where Arizona is on this, but about 25 states of the union have special elections when a state legislator leaves in the middle of their session. The other 25 are political appointments. Utah is in that second category. So what that means is that the party of the state senator has their own discretion to select in whatever manner that they choose how that replacement is going to take office. In Utah, what they do is they have party delegates get together behind a closed door and make their selection. That means that party insiders and party leadership, sometimes numbering up to 200 people, sometimes as few as 6 individuals, are choosing what senator is then going to represent those 100,000 individuals in that district. Okay, that's all well and good. I'm not fundamentally against that as a hypothesis, but what we have seen is that now 10 of our 29 senators in the state of Utah were originally selected via this process. And the reason they do that is because they get to enjoy a 97 to 99% incumbency reelection rate. Okay. So we at the Forward Party decided to do it very differently. When we had control and we had the opportunity to select a midterm replacement, we said, you know what? It's our party's rights to do it however we want. Why don't we let every single voter in the district cast a vote in a very public selection process for who this replacement was going to be? We were able to stand on some of our values around election reform by piloting approval voting and online voting mechanisms that had never been used in this kind of election in the history of the United States before. And we came out of it with Senator Emily Buss, who's now serving her first term in the state Senate and doing a fantastic job. No guardrails, nobody at our party telling her what to think about certain issues. She can caucus with whom she wants. She can vote however she wants. And we're really excited to see this, what we think is just the beginning of this experiment play out.
Fantastic. Now, you mentioned something that's passionate for our program, digitaldemocracyproject.org. You guys use some sort of online voting to help get the decision made to put her in. You just said that, correct?
I did, yeah. So Digital Democracy Project, we're great friends of theirs. We've invited them to participate and help us with some of the bills that are coming through right now. This is a little bit different. It was a different vendor. There's a few players in this space. They're called Secure Internet Voting, but they effectively used a very similar technology, a fully authorizable, fully authenticatable system so that we can ensure that only members of the district who are registered voters are able to vote. There's an audit trail. The reason that we did all these things is because we want county clerks and election runners around the country to be able to look at this as a sort of an experiment and see if we're doing a good job proving the concept that we can expand digital voting for elected officials more broadly in years to come. And this is a good use case because this is a private vote. This is a party's vote. So if the wheels came off, like, you know what I mean, we're left holding the bag instead of, the government, which is what would happen if the clerks did it. But, we're happy to report that literally nothing went wrong and went as well as we could have hoped for.
Yeah, and I want to promote voatz.com, votes.com. And we've got a couple of minutes left here. And by the way, Phil, if you can hang on through the break, I want to talk a little bit more about this. But everybody try to focus in on this. We're now a majority of Arizona in particular. I don't know about Utah, but we do mail-in ballots. So everything's done by snail mail. How, do you guys vote by mail up there? How do you guys do it?
We do. The legislature has been peeling it back a little bit, but still it's something like 92% of us vote by mail.
Well, so that's the point. So what's the next step? I mean, our smartphones have become this thing that we have in our hands. We do our banking, we do our communication, we do facial recognition with our smartphones. We do codes where they text back to you. You can have online auditing. Once you have a digital footprint, and by the way, they have the results of the vote is implanted in multiple servers all over the world. So if somebody tries to tamper with one of the servers that has the record for the particular vote, thousands of other servers all over the world say, no, you can't do that. So this is a way of having security. Phil, can you stay with us as we go? We could do another few minutes right after the break. Can you stay with us?
It would be my pleasure.
Great. Guys, we got music coming here. That means we got to do a commercial break. Got to pay the bills. My name is Rex Perry. I'm the host and creator of the show. If you want any information, you hear something, we need volunteers. We need help. 123bz.com. Real easy to remember. 123bz.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.